Hey everyone.
What's up? What's up?
Hello and welcome to Lesson Learned, a conversation about Minecraft. I am Corey Griffin. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Kobe Randolph.
And today we're going to be talking you through the Dwarven lineage of Mythcraft.
Sweet. Uh, Very excited about this. I love the little dwarf guys. They are actually one of my favorites.
What about dwarves are your favorites?
I think my favorite part of the dwarves would have to be their just the lore around them. They're like such a big part of how Sarah's lore is. Like with the dragon and all that. They're the one who slayed the first kaiju and made the first dragon. So I think they're very fucking fun.
Okay. So like you enjoy them from an answer point of view. What about like homebrew like content and stuff like that? Anyway,
Fun.
go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think dwarves are always just fun. I mean, I think the part they play in just like fantasy as the stereotypes around them of being the miners and stuff. Like I have a group of dwarves and up in the mountains of my colony with the volcano forge, and I just think that that basic stereotypes of dwarves are always very fun in my opinion, and I think they're always a fun bunch.
You know,
I mean, outside of that too, I think just in builds wise stuff, I think they're very fun. I like the stocky boys, and they are built to be some cool stuff in Mythcraft to do such that.
I forgot to do some. All right, there we go. Oops. All right. Well, I do love how there's so much like there's so much inspiration to kind of talk through, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that you can grab and use. You know, makes role playing them really easy for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there's
All
so many
right,
good dwarves in fantasy to just be like, "Ah, I'm gonna take bits of there, bits of that, and
absolutely, they are amazing for that reason, right? But let's go ahead and start. I'm kind of kicking stuff around a little bit, waiting for see if we got some more people in.
yeah,
But hi everyone. I say that, and the viewer count jumps. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I guess go ahead and start with the dwarf traits. So height in Mythcraft is like 3'6" to like 4'6", so like 3.5 to 4.5 feet. I don't know anyone that would be like, no, you'll have to play in this range.
yeah. No, I can't imagine. I mean, I played a shorter dwarf. I played like extra lengthy. I mean, Lesh is a very tall, lengthy satyr. I think
Mhm.
height restrictions. That's like the average of people. We also have people in real life like Taco Fall, who's like 7'12". Like that man's a giant. Like those, it just happens.
712 is 8 feet. Anyway, but yeah. So the weight roughly 120 to 240 pounds.
Give me some stocky little man.
Yeah, right? Like, you want to talk about being built like stone. And this is coming to someone who could be. I am a miner, right? Like, I do break rocks for a living,
Rock and stone, baby, rock and stone.
you know. In Mythcraft, they are size medium, and their base speed is 20 feet. You want to go over some of the appearance?
Yeah. Yeah. So as I said a few times, they are stocky. They are have skin and hair tones that reflect their environment due to generation of like evolution. And there's like three of like sublineages of that evolution that's come from that, which is we have the mountain dwarves, we have the crag dwarves, and the deep dwarves. Uh, Yeah, so like the mountain dwarves that it says there, like in the mountains, they have skin colors ranging from brown to pale. They grow thick, bushy beards, regardless of their gender, looped with trinkets and precious metals. For the crag dwarves, they have a earthier coloration with skin tones like clay and sandstone, and hair ranging from red to dark brunette, generally taller and comparatively lankier than the other dwarven sublineages. And then we have one of my favorites because I like anything from the deep, dark places in any world. The deep dwarf. The deep dwarves look almost alien with pale skin that borders on translucent and large, dark eyes, adaptive to navigate under utter blackness of cavern living. Which
Right, right.
spooky boys.
So the lifespan of the dwarf, they reach maturity like 16 ish, and can live as long as like 300 years or so, assuming they don't get, you know, crushed or
Things do happen.
into an adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, go
How
ahead.
the dwarves? Sorry, not to cut you off. Just hop into the next one.
Yeah.
The dwarves have like an international outlook of they tend to be insular in their communities, but they frequently engage and trade and cooperation with friendly communities and often form power alliances with the elves, human, and Kleppen societies.
I find that interesting, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like elves, very bog standard. Humans, again, bog standard.
Mm-hmm.
But Kleppen, that's a fun one.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting because it's also plays in the fact that Kleppens do range in types of animals. So I imagine the different dwarves have interactions with different types of Kleppen. You know what I mean? Like the deep dwarf probably have like the like mole Kleppens and like those type of Kleppens that like are more ground based. And then while you have the freaking mountain dwarf had just the bunny rabbit, like the bunnies and like the squirrels and stuff like that. So it's very a fun little different too because I think I love Kleppens in general, but
Yeah, we are pro Kleppen.
looks like we're getting into the features now, which I'm excited for as well. Do you want me to go
Right.
over the base ones?
Yeah, I'll go over the first ones.
Okay.
So, and a little bit of explaining real quick. Unlike all of the other lineages we've went over. Dwarves get their basic dwarf lineage features and their sub lineage feature. However, they don't get to choose from the list until level 5.
Just a very interesting one, but it's also like a little. You don't want it feels a little front loaded.
Right. From someone looking from the outside in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything with sublineages get all of that, but they don't get to choose like a personal feature,
Okay.
right? And that's probably a balancing thing. Right.
Yeah.
But you end up with more, but less. We'll get into it. So the first feature you get as a dwarf is stone sense, which is of course the most important and most impactful of any feature.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
For those that don't know me, that's sarcasm. So what it is you have a natural affinity for carving and the underground world. You gain a +5 to any history, geography, navigating checks regarding the underground.
And the other one, which is actually quite impactful, is dark vision, which you can see in darkness to a limit even without any light source. While using dark vision, you can see up to 30 feet and then are blind beyond that point. Which, I mean, we all know it. Dark vision is just good. I mean,
Yep.
it's just good. There's
Yep.
being the one guy in the party without dark vision carrying the torch sucks. Not gonna lie,
I
it
mean,
happens, but there's lots of other ways around it, obviously. But if I can find ways to get dark vision, I love it. Truthfully,
less lineages get dark vision.
yeah, there's very different like D&D 5e. It's like it just we need a feature for lineage, darkness. Let it see in the dark. Let it see in the dark.
Right. Okay. So the Mountain Dwarf sublineage. These are the attribute points that you get. So your fortitude increases by +1. When making endurance checks to mitigate the effects of extreme cold, roll 2d20. Oh, it's going to be one of them days. And take the higher. And then you have Mountain Born, which you gain 6 skill points that you can spend on any of the features that I'm about to list out. But you can only take +4 points into any one single skill. I will list in a second. I was good during the warm-ups today. Anyway, so the list is as such. You have balancing, contorting, applied force, athletics, brewing, cooking, jeweling, leatherworking, masonry, smithing, appraising, forced march, navigating, tracking, dungeoneering, and evading.
Oh, you got the echo going on. That's the problem. I had to mute myself from here so I couldn't hear myself. I'm horrible when it comes to that.
So, like, the reason I cannot do it is if I mute myself, then they can't hear me.
Yeah, that's a.
So, yeah.
Fun times. Well, I'll take over from the crag. I just said it helps, but I can't talk. Wow. Okay. Yep. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Crag dwarf. You gain the following ones, which is a stone minded. You gain plus 1 will when a creature or effect attempts to impose charmed on you. You must roll. It must roll 2d20 and
Use whichever is lower.
I talked it, and then I got my ass bit for it. And then their other one is Ruin Dweller, which is gain 6 skill points you can spend on the following list. You can only put 4 into a single skill point using this feature. Acrobatics, balancing, contorting, athleticism, applied force and athletics, crafting, brewing, carpentry, cooking, leatherworking, masonry, pottery, weaving, and wood carving, knowledge, history, luck, scavenging, survival, and navigating. And to clarify, acrobatics, athleticism, crafting, knowledge, luck, and survival were the tags those skills were under.
Mhm.
Not to confuse. I probably should have said that a little differently looking back at it, but we learning.
Hey, it's all right, right? So I'm gonna go over the deep dwarf. All right. So what we get is danger sense. Your anticipation increases by +1 when making awareness checks made to detect an ambush or trap. Roll 2d20 and use whichever is higher. The other sublineage feature that we get is Deep Dweller. We get +6 skill points that we can spend in the following skills. Again, you cannot put more than +4 points into any single skill using this feature, but you can do 4 and 2. Anyway, we'll get over that later when we do our episode on skills in like 2 months. All right. But so the list goes as such. We have balancing, contorting, applied force, athletics, alchemy, brewing, cooking, masonry, smithing, perceiving, forced march, dungeoneering, navigating, sneaking, tracking.
I truthfully just love the dwarves. Like each one of those, they like it. Not only do the skills help kind of define what type of character like those dwarves are, but each one has like they are all dwarfs and resilient, but like it gives them from their own backing. Like I love like the way features in Mythcraft really like also give character to a character. It's not just like you can do these things. Like it very much so. They all seem to very much so fit very well, and with like the lineage features. Then when you hit level 5 as sublineages don't get to pick one at one,
Right.
you can get to
Well, so we will get it at like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 29. So we get from down below.
yeah, so from these ones, once you hit 5 you can start picking from these one, and we start with Crafts Dwarf, which is a repeatable. You gain +5 points to spend on any skill with the crafting tag.
Okay. The one after that is going to be Dark Vision 2, which you have to have Dark Vision for it. And it states that the range that which you can see while using Dark Vision extends by 30 feet.
Which, who doesn't want to see deep in the dark? That's just 60 feet is.
Yeah.
That's some good ranged attacks in there, right there, from 60 feet away in the dark. Someone else can't see.
Right.
But after that, we go to the Dwarven Constitution, which is another repeatable. Gain 6 skill points to spend on any skills with the athleticism tag, and you cannot spend more than 4 points on a single skill this way.
Dwarves are little skill monkeys. Kind of seems. All right. So after that, we have Dwarven Ingenuity, which is you gain a +3 bonus to awareness checks to detect hidden doors or traps. Okay, I now know what kind of build I'm going to talk about later. God.
I love it. After that, we have Dwarven Ingenuity 2, which is a prerequisite of having Dwarven Ingenuity. Once per rest, you now spend 10 minutes to set a tripwire trap, giving you that you have the appropriate materials handy. When triggered, the trap uses your awareness to attack the target anticipation. If you succeed, the target is slowed until the end of its next turn.
All right. And then Dwarven Ingenuity 3, which of course requires Dwarven Ingenuity 2. Your Dwarven Ingenuity 2 tripwire gains an additional 1d6 sharp damage if you hit. Additionally, if you hit, the target is knocked prone in addition to being slowed. We'll go over slowed here in just a minute. And finally, you regain the ability to use this feature when you recoup, instead of before it was once per rest.
I love that. I love being able to just set a freaking trap. It's so much fun. But yeah, after that we go
Sorry, I'm
into
looking for slowed real quick.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
slowed is just your overall speed is halved.
Which is, I mean, is already strong in other systems, but in a system like Mythcraft where it takes like a monster action to move, having a slow effect is like, come
Yeah.
and try to hit me. Let me just back up. Use both your monster actions to come and try and hit me.
Right.
But yeah, next we go into another little 3 tier, like upgraded one. This is the Earth Blood. To start off at Earth Blood 1, you gain Resist Toxic 3.
Right. And after that, we get Earthblood 2. Obviously, it requires Earthblood for it to work. And you're going to increase your resist toxic by 3, now giving us a total of +6. And you are immune to non-magical common and uncommon diseases.
And this next one, Earth Blood 3, which is not only do you have to have Earth Blood 2, you also have to be character level 20. For this one, you are immune to toxic damage and being poisoned with non-magical common and uncommon toxins. That, oh, spicy. Just, I think any damage immunity, even may not be a super common one, just having that chance to be like, actually, no.
I mean, toxic is not super common, but it's not super uncommon.
Mm-hmm. I definitely
Right.
run a few
Like,
monsters
of the
before,
elementals, I think it's the second most common.
Okay.
Obviously, the physical damage types are more common. Anyway, we'll get to that conversation later when we have just a
That'll be a fun
damage
graph to make.
conversation.
We're gonna crunch some numbers.
I already have them. I wanted to go over this before I get full into the crunch and we lose all of our people. All right, I'm joking. I love you all. Please don't run away. All right. So next is probably one of my favorite features of the dwarf, which is called Steel Heart. It is a repeatable trait, and what it does is your maximum HP increases by +5 each time you take this feature.
That's just nice.
Frontline tank, you want lots of HP, your dwarf is going to be the best way to go.
That's wow.
They can take all the same other bigger, talents later, but they also have Steel Heart.
I want to do a fucking meat pile dwarf now. But yeah, after that we go to that's a word. Kobe's gonna stoutling.
Yep.
All right. You can now carry 3 additional weapons and a total of 3 items with the unwieldy tag. Which, this is good. I think. I mean, personally, as an MC myself, I don't track stuff like that super often. That yeah, I'm just lazy. That is 100% a lazy MC thing. Um, I think if it came up to a character who started carrying a lot of the weapons, I might think about it. I just also have people who have like just their bare minimum, so I don't even really know the rules off the top of my head. But
Hmm.
I definitely see it's very fun. It makes sense for like the dwarf to have his broadsword, a hammer, his pickaxe. Like I think it fits very well with what they're doing.
Oh, I very much like thinking of like this dwarf that just has an anvil strapped to his chest because an anvil is a unwieldy item, right? And it's just forging as they walk.
You forgot to add the part where they're a troubadour and that's their freaking instrument.
All right,
Oh, oh, we gotta get to the character build part.
right, right. That's great. I love that. Why do I love that so much? Okay, so the last one that we have is Treasure Hunter, which is a repeatable talent, and we gain +3 to lockpicking and +4 to dungeoneering, which are skills that, when you want them high, right?
Hmm. I
But
will say this is good in my campaigns. I love to run old school type dungeons. Like I think those are very fun encounters. So stuff like this is I love when someone has a high lock pick, high dungeoneering, because then you can set those fun DCs or that secret trap chest and be like, "There's a chance I can give you a really cool item." I love when characters build into this stuff as an MC.
I love characters that are built to engage with the world
Oh, so much fun.
instead of when like 3/4 of your cast goes outcast.
Hey, Les is trying to be a face with charisma.
I remember what is out. We don't want no spoilers on
That's what,
Lesson Learned.
yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. We've seen less charisma roles as is. He does great when, even outside of the pod. That is, I love building characters to interact with the world. The world doesn't like when I do it.
I just love Lesh's entertainment checks.
Oh my god,
You have a massive bonus, like what was it,
15, I think
14 in the beginning?
it was +12 to start. I just got it to +15
Okay.
with my when I hit 5 and took the face spirit.
But you were losing so often.
I did not roll above a 10 until the final one. It was like, yes, yes.
And that was through the whole campaign. It wasn't just one. Anyway, we're getting distracted again. So, do you have one of the sublineages that really calls to you that you want to give kind of an example build with?
I mean, deep dwarfs are my favorite.
Okay.
Um,
I'm going to go first. I had one for each of them,
yeah,
and we'll just shelf my deep boy.
sounds good to me.
I'm going to start with my Cragdorf. Sorry, Mountain Dwarf. So, my Mountain Dwarf, you know, I went heavy on Applied Force and Force to March. And then I've grabbed Stoutling for a different reason than what we talked about. And I heavily focused on strength, endurance, and then I grabbed 2 hand-and-a-half weapons, took the talents to dual wield them,
Nice.
and then I just, after that, just becomes Steelheart. That extra
Steelheart.
5 hit points is just so good on anyone that you plan on taking damage. It doesn't have to be, a berserker or warrior or a zealot, or because it could be a rogue. I just liked the idea of this dwarven tank, pretty much just spinning around like a bottle top, slicing people off at the kneecaps.
Yup. Oh, that's so good. Beyblade, Beyblade, let it rip.
Give me your kneecaps.
I love the dual wield talent stack. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like that is I've built into that quite a few times. I love being able to attack so much. Do you want me to hop in my
Yeah,
deep
go
dwarf?
ahead and do
Okay.
your deep dwarf next.
So my deep dwarf, I leaned in um to the creepy deep dark vibes. So for my stats, I went high awareness, high high awareness, high coordination, and high endurance. I end up making a dip into Earth Blood to start off 1 and 2, and then when I hit level 20, I go to the full one to do the full immunity because I be making the toxins myself, so I think it fits. He's he's a witch who be sitting in the deep dark picking up the weird funguses. He makes some weird potions and he casts some really horrid spells on people when they fuck with his mind. Yep. All definitely the dark vision too as well. Just you walk into this real dark cave, you smell horrible bubbling things. Oh, you're being hit by a horrible blast of toxic. Oh shit! What you gonna do? I love it. I love a deep, creepy fucking witch guy.
It definitely sounds like a fun build. And it is funny that you went down that road this time. And the last ones that had the resist toxic little sub tree, I went down.
Yeah, it's a fun one. I think it's such a good way to add flavor to like any character, especially because like why do they resist toxic? Like it's more than just like I guess like on mine. It's like I tried way too many of my own toxins trying to make it see if they work. I probably passed out a lot on the way there, but now I'm immune to it. Like I think that's just a fun way to like such a fun little thing you can do.
And my Kragdorf is a cook. Um, so I go ahead and go middling in intellect. And then, Krasdorf to gain that plus 5 points for any skill. And cooking is a skill. So, and it's repeatable. So by the time I'm done, I have like a plus 30
I love that.
or plus 22. Because in Methcraft, the maximum you can have is a plus 22 from skill points specifically. But still, I'm maxing out that cooking. And Lesh can eat his heart out.
I know. Lesh, I feel like is definitely taking the cooking skill at some point, which how much he rolls that freaking check without any skills in it.
Right, right. So today went a little bit faster than normal. I feel like
Yes.
there weren't I think there's more pages for the dwarf, but I think there are less talents.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't counted anything. I definitely only had to explain like one thing. So
Yeah, I think they're also very kind of like upfront. It's like dwarves are. This is what they are. There's not a lot of deep. Like it's not like super deep in the talent tree wise. I think it's kind of.
we're
Which
not
makes
reinventing
sense.
the wheel with the dwarf.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah. At any point, if any of you want to post questions for myself or Kobe, or both of us, we'll be happy to answer. I as I look at these talents, right? One of them that I get really interested in is Treasure Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a Dwarven Rogue with Treasure Hunter is going to be very fun.
Oh my god, yeah. just picking. I mean, yeah, they spent their whole life in. I just the dark vision as well too adds right to the rogue. You're sneaking in, stealing shit, getting out. I just, uh, it fits very well, which I think is funny because you wouldn't. I think the first thought when you think of dwarf, you think like more tanky, but like it shows the Mythcraft versatility and character building that like really anything can be anything in Mythcraft effectively. And I think that's just another bit of it where it's like if you look into it and figure it out, you're probably gonna be able to run it and make it work. There's very few things I haven't been able to mess around and or try to mess around with when it comes to like the Mythcraft versatility. I think this is a really cool one too, because just like in this with the crafting, you can make a skill monkey with them. You can get like the skill +6 to athleticism for the Constitution. That's super like flexible. Like it's. I love the flexibility of Mythcraft, and
And they would also make relatively effective witches, like you said, or
mm-hmm,
mages, or even clerics would appreciate the higher defenses, right?
mm-hmm,
Like each one of the sublineages gets a boost to a defense, whether it's on one or another,
mm-hmm.
which is strong. I mean, we talked about it at length was it a couple episodes ago, or was it last week's episode? No, it was last week's episode. Like the Mountain Dwarf's ability to roll 2d20 and take the higher. That's to me that's fluff. I don't care if I use that or not. That +1 to fortitude.
Yeah,
That's the big part of that ability.
that's the big part. It's so nice. I mean I think any little defensive buffs are really strong, just because in Mythcraft it is like it does well that you're getting all your defenses targeted often. It doesn't feel like you're just AR, or like it's
Particularly when it comes to reflex, fortitude, and anticipation.
mm-hmm.
Those are the three. I have a chart. I'm not showing it yet. But I have a
Of course you
chart.
do.
Of course I do. Yes. I have a chart where that breaks down how commonly different stats are. I also have the reverse. Which stats to target based on monster defenses.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That is some spaz shit for real.
Hi, my name is Corey Griffin. I am Spaz.
I only ever call people their online username. I'm so bad with that.
Nah, you're
That's
good. There's a reason, right? Like, my name is what it is,
mm-hmm.
right? Um, what would it take you to play a dwarf?
What would it take me to play a dwarf?
Mm-hmm.
Not much. I mean, even in one of our campaigns, I almost played a dwarf.
Almost.
Yeah, our RB was almost a dwarf. I built a character RB who was his whole thing was he was a remnant, which we'll get to eventually. You'll learn about those guys, but he was yeah a robot who loved rocks and breaking stones. His name was RB because he was a rock breaker, and I was very very heavily thinking about going to a dwarf. But then I thought of opening up my chest, a bunch of rocks inside of it that I'd broken. That bit of it was too much. But I love dwarves. Like I said, it's one of my favorite NPCs in my home campaign is my dwarf blacksmith. She's amazing and she is so sassy.
What is your biggest fear of me bringing into Tales of Evard from the doors?
biggest fear. Ooh, I mean that Brunei had one that really jumped out. I don't know if I have a fear, but I do have a hope. I need a traveling mariachi band, but it's just dwarves with anvils strapped to their chest.
So to answer the question, are there people out there who know me as something other than Spaz? Yes. I know it's it. There's a couple.
Few, no, a few.
Now,
What is
most of them think
what,
I am a Spaz, but they don't know me as Spaz.
as an MC though? What is your favorite part of like what a dwarf can bring to a campaign? Like when you see a dwarf coming, what do you want to see as a dwarf usually?
Okay, I'm gonna return this question to you. As a player character, like someone's playing a dwarf, or for me to bring a colony of dwarves in.
So like as I guess a player character, like what does that look like for you? Because like how do you like to role play as a with a dwarf in your setting? Because like I should say, or in your party, I should say.
I mean, I'm relatively straightforward with how I interact with the party. Aside from a few, very, very few interactions, I don't necessarily take lineage into account when I'm thinking about interactions. Except for when that interaction is with myself. You'll know which one I'm talking about. It has not been really released yet, so we're not going to talk about it.
Oh, I almost started talking. See, I'm glad you say those things because even though I'm an editor, I still don't know what gets. I listened to the episodes too. I'm fully caught up. I'm so bad.
But we're 2 weeks ahead, so
True that. Oh, so
anyway.
tomorrow.
So as far as that goes, if someone comes to me and they're like, "I want to play dwarf," awesome. What sublineage you going? And then I'll build a place for that to come from.
Yeah.
Right? I've talked about maybe not on Lesson Learned, but I know on the main feed we've talked about how I had a skeleton of a world that I presented to you all. You all give me what you wanted out of it, and then I built more.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the back and forth with character building and world building at the same time with you was mwah, chef's kiss. Your questions were very thought provoking, and like it never felt like you were like trying to fit us into a mold of your world. It very much so felt that like we got to make a mold, and then you filled it in with fucking all the good ingredients. It was really fun. It was really cool. I've never like built a character in like such an interactive way. I would say like with the DM, it's kind of been like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And it's been like, hey, this is a good, this is a no, and that's kind of been kind of the most of it. But you were very like, it felt like you were invested in Lesh's story as it was coming to life, which I mean, it was awesome.
To me, the person running the game should be just as invested in the PC's story as the PC. Right. Like, if you're not, then you're going to end up with some weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Like MCV PC kind of stuff going on. And while my world may try to kill you, I am not.
I don't know if I trust that sometimes, but it feels like you're trying to kill me pretty hard. So Outside of the podcast, man, that's the part that sucks. People don't understand the home games that I've had with you.
I want you to realize I do not balance our home games. That is playtesting material.
No, that is very true. I just almost die a lot.
Either almost die or die a
Yep.
lot.
Good
And that's
times.
okay.
I love it.
Do our wonderful listeners have any questions? I'm really hoping you do, guys. Still giving them some time.
Yeah.
A little bit more time. Please ask me some questions. Oh, and what I like to do with doors, what you should watch out for, is when I start.
I'm double checking that actually right now. I don't know that.
So as of right now, it might be. There might be other things with different names that are similar to that. To detect an ambush or trap, roll 2d20 and use whichever is higher. I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that somewhere else. Give me a second.
I mean, there's ways to not be a dwarf that have it, technically. Then there are some things that can grab other features, but we haven't got to those yet. You'll see that later on.
Yeah, like there is, I think, specialization talents that will do that.
And like the undead.
Yeah.
Trying to I see if I can find anything that else that uses something similar to it. Yeah, I think that one, Danger Sense itself with that by that name seems to be just for the dwarves.
Right, I do believe that that is correct. It might be.
That's strictly the deep dwarfs.
But like we talked about, I think there is stuff in
Similar,
the,
yeah.
Specialization talents that will give you similar ability. Thank you for the question. For me to start looking real quick. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Loving it.
Hey. I stopped. I cannot.
Oh shit. No, I can't find it. I'm looking, but
So there's like Dungeoneer. Dungeoneer. I think it's supposed to be Dungeoneer, but I'm not sure. That gives you +3 to Dungeoneering. And your anticipation increases by 1. Which is about the same. Which, 2d20 plus the higher, +3. I'd say that probably comes out very close to the wash. As of right now, yes, danger sense is a strictly dwarf thing. But with that being said, like, that gives them a nice little niche, checking for traps kind of person vibe going there. I'm only seeing that on the dwarf page the more I look.
mm-hmm.
But so to answer the question, as of right now, yes. Danger sense is strictly a dwarf thing.
And that's lesson learned.
Not quite. Yeah, I'm not finding anything else as I look through everything.
Yeah, that shit's pretty freaking. Looks like dwarves are the way to go to make yourself a rogue.
Right? Or at least a investigative type rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, you can always take like I said, the dungeoneering,
Yeah.
or dungeoneer specialization talent. But you could do that and be a dwarf too.
That's even. Oh my god, that'd be so strong.
Well, because you're looking at like +2 to anticipation at some point. And you're gonna be good at those rolls.
Mm-hmm. You. that's that's actually really strong. Holy crap! I want to make a.
Right?
Now.
I gotta kill off more of your characters.
I really, really like the ones that are still alive right now. I don't know about all of that.
I need to make more. No, don't kill off the ones I have. That's not what I meant.
Hey, we can replace RB. RB probably got crushed by a landfill at some point. That's why he's not around.
Huh. Alright. I think that. Thank you so much for the question. I think that unless you all have another question for us, please. One more. I'm trying to keep these streams to about an hour.
Just about there.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I just a little bit more. But I do think, unless you all have questions for us, which I would appreciate. I love questions. I love explaining things.
I have a question, actually.
Go ahead.
What would you consider the materials needed for the dwarven ingenuity?
Okay. So, tripwire.
Hmm.
Minimum. Right. Give me a second, because I can give you a better.
Or when one of my characters die and I make my little dwarven ingenuity guy.
But yeah, I think wire, chain,
Kind of,
whether that's heavy or regular
yeah.
chain. If you're doing chain, I'd probably ask for a lock.
So kind of what they want to make it of, you're gonna give them that. If they
Yeah,
have
like
the
if you would come to me and describe an effective tripwire and understand I know how to make a tripwire, you describe to me an effective tripwire, I'll let you have it.
I'm gonna make a dwarf and describe one of those stupid like Rube Goldberg machines that's stupid elaborate. Like, come on, come on.
I'll tell you what it takes. If you do not have what you need, you ain't making it. And there
Oh
will be
god.
checks.
Now I want to make a character who only does trapwire like that. He has like a hyperfixation on it and has to make stupidly complex traps. It's
Right.
like all I built for it to make myself a good trap.
But yes. I think that this might be the end of the question, maybe? Possibly. Sadly. Thank you for the question, Donna. I appreciate it. So, but I think that might be everything that we have for today. If you want to see how doors, or more accurately, lineages, work in our game, go ahead and check out our actual play podcast, Tales of Yavard.
I highly recommend it. Not biased at all. No.
I highly recommend it. I am biased. But anyway, if you would like to, go ahead and let us know what lineage you'd like us to cover next in the comments below. If not, we'll just continue alphabetical.
Thank you guys for checking us out.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a beautiful time.